Hi, my name is Matt and today we're going to be taking a look at and discussing the iPhone XR in 2021 and whether or not this is still good value for money. So the iPhone XR was released in 2018 alongside the iPhone XS. When the iPhone XR was originally announced, it was a slightly controversial phone because many people online were speculating that the screen was going to be rubbish. People were very disappointed that on paper it's the same screen resolution as the iPhone 4. But as soon as the iPhone XR got into the hands of reviewers, it quickly became apparent that the screen really isn't a problem and it's more than good enough for pretty much most people. The iPhone XR can still be purchased directly from Apple for around £500, or you can purchase a used iPhone XR on eBay for between £230 and £300. And this raises the questions, how does the iPhone XR hold up in 2021 and is it worth buying? So the short answer to this is the iPhone XR holds up really well in 2021. In 2018, when this phone was released, the iPhone XR and the iPhone XS were the two fastest phones on the market. So 3 years later, the performance is still very quick and it holds up well. My personal suggestion would be to buy a used iPhone XR over a new one from Apple. You can buy an iPhone XR in like new condition for around £300, meaning that you're getting about £200 worth of savings, and for £300 the iPhone XR is really excellent value for money. However, if you think that you'll be concerned about buying a used iPhone XR, then it's still really good value for money buying it directly from Apple. So within this video I'm going to give you an overview of the iPhone XR in 2021 and how it holds up, and allow you to make an informed decision as to whether or not this phone is for you. So starting off with design, this phone came in a wide variety of colours including black, white, blue, yellow, coral and red. If I was personally buying the iPhone XR, I would just be buying it in black. I personally think that these colours miss the mark and don't look very nice. This yellow I have here I think looks really horrible in person, so yeah, I'm personally not a fan of the colours on this phone. The front of this phone features a 6.1 inch Retina display, which everyone was worried about would look awful. Obviously the display isn't as good as the display on the iPhone XS, but it still looks great and is plenty sharp enough. I think for most people this display won't be an issue at all. However, if you do think that an LCD display will bother you, the iPhone XS is now a very similar price to the iPhone XR, and this has an OLED display. I've got a review of this phone on my channel if you're interested in that. The top of the display has a notch which is the home to the Face ID sensor. Face ID on this phone works quite quick. I do prefer Touch ID, but Face ID does work well. This iPhone feels huge in the hand, I must admit. I have fairly small hands, I suppose, and I do prefer smaller phones, so for me the iPhone XR is just too big, and I couldn't personally own this phone because it is too big for me. I always feel like I'm gonna drop it. If you're like me and you do want a smaller phone, again I would consider the iPhone XS. The iPhone XR also has a glass back, meaning that it supports Qi wireless charging. This is a universal standard, so pretty much any wireless charger you can find on the market will work with the iPhone XR. Finally, this phone is IP67 rated, meaning that it can be submerged to a depth of 1 meter for 30 minutes. Moving on to performance. The iPhone XR is powered by the A12 chip and 3GB of RAM. This is the same internals as the iPhone XS, and in 2018 when this phone was released, the A12 processor was the fastest processor in a phone. Therefore it just holds up great in 2021. Apps open insanely quickly and swiping through the home screen is very responsive. Larger apps such as games still open really quickly, and this phone can play any game really well. I am playing PUBG here and I've got it on the highest graphics settings that I could find, and it really doesn't struggle at all to run this game. Due to the larger screen, playing games on this phone is actually really fun and it's much easier than playing games on a smaller iPhone. So yeah, if you are looking to play games on a phone, this phone will absolutely do great and it is good fun. Intensive games can drain the battery quite quick, but other than that the performance really is awesome. Because Apple are still selling this iPhone, I think that kind of guarantees you at least 3 more years worth of software support, which is very competitive in this price range, as many phones for around £300 only come with 2 years worth of guaranteed software support. Moving on to camera. On paper, the iPhone XR camera is maybe a bit underwhelming with just a single 12 megapixel main camera. However, when actually taking photos with the camera, it's great. It's such an improvement over the iPhone X, and you can really get some great photos with this camera. This phone has improved HDR, meaning that the details are even great in challenging lighting scenarios. Although this phone only has one camera, it is capable of taking portrait photos, which come out looking okay. They're not amazing, but they're kind of just acceptable. The main camera can also record 4K video at 60 frames per second, which is really great video. I went on holiday with a friend and he has a XR, and all the videos that he took from our holiday just look really great. This camera is also capable of shooting time lapses and slow motion video at 1080p 240 frames per second, which again is a feature that I don't use very regularly, but it is nice to have. The selfie camera is less of an improvement over the iPhone X. The front facing camera is a 7 megapixel camera that can also take 1080p video. It's more than good enough for FaceTime, but not so good for anything more serious. Alright then, so I am just recording a video using the front-facing camera on the iPhone XR. This phone really does feel too big for me, I must admit. If you've got small hands, maybe this isn't the phone to buy. However, this front-facing camera, it looks fairly decent. It's alright. It's probably acceptable for something just like vlogging, like just a front-facing vlogging camera. It's probably good enough for that, I'd say, yeah. So overall, the camera on this phone is very, very capable, and I think you'll be impressed by the main camera. So moving on to battery. The battery on this phone is actually even better than the iPhone XS and the iPhone X. This is because it's generally a larger phone, allowing for a bigger battery, and it has a lower screen resolution. The battery is a 2900 mAh battery and is easily an all-day battery when the phone is new. However, if you are buying this phone used, it's likely that you're going to have a degraded battery, and this will definitely impact battery life. I would recommend ensuring that if you're buying a used iPhone XR, you're buying one with a battery health of above 95%. Therefore, you're still going to very comfortably have all-day battery. So to conclude, I really think this phone has a lot going for it. If you're buying it new from Apple for £500, you're getting a really good phone. However, if you're buying it second-hand for around £300, you're getting a fantastic phone for the money, and it really is great value. The performance on this phone is super quick, and it keeps up very well with brand new iPhones, and the camera as well is very impressive, and I think it will be great for taking around with you and capturing your memories. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was useful. I am just recording this outro also on the iPhone XS. Thank you very much for watching. If you are interested in future reviews, please do subscribe. I plan on uploading somewhat consistently throughout the future, and I've got quite a few different video ideas planned, and ideally I'd really like to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible, because that's quite an impressive milestone, I think. So yeah, please do subscribe. It's a great way to support the channel. Thank you very much for watching.